Eddie Murphy first captured the attention of America in the fall of 1980 after he had made a name for himself on Saturday Night Live at just the age of 19. The fact that Eddie and his brother Charlie made names for themselves in show business proves that talent ran in their family's bloodline, especially when you consider their father, Charles Edward Murphy, who was an amateur comedian and aspiring entertainer. Charles Edward would chase the show business lifestyle, but eventually suffered an untimely death, not living to see the success of either one of his sons. So how did this happen? The father of Eddie and Charlie Murphy is a story you should know. Interesting enough, back in the 1940s, the Murphy family was told that someone in their family would become a star, long before Eddie and Charlie were born. According to sources, Rosa V. Boykins Murphy was told by a fortune teller that their family would produce an entertainer whose name would be known worldwide. Thinking this applied to her immediate lineage, her and her husband, Henry Roosevelt Murphy, would have 4 children, including Raymond Uncle Ray Murphy, who would notably go on to work security for Eddie when he hit big in the 80s, and Eddie's father, Charles Edward. Charles Edward Murphy would marry Lillian Laney, who worked as a telephone operator while their father was a transit police officer, working for the New York City Transit Authority by day and acting as an MC, comedian, and actor during the night. According to sources, Charles Murphy would only live to be 28 years old, being born on October 30th, 1940, and passing away on August 22nd, 1969. You see, at the time, a young Charlie Murphy had just turned 10 years old, while Eddie was only 8. Eddie would reveal this information in a 1989 Rolling Stone interview. "My mother and father broke up when I was 3, and he died when I was 8, so I have very dim memories. He was a victim of the Murphy charm. A woman stabbed my father. I never got all the logistics. It was supposed to be one of those crimes of passion. If I can't have you, no one else will kind of deal." With Eddie's father being tragically murdered at the hands of a jealous woman, things wouldn't get any easier for the Murphys because their mother would fall ill. This led to both a young Eddie and Charlie into foster care while their mother recovered, only spending about a year in the program, surrounded by crazy characters and situations. Eddie recalls and credits his experience in the foster home as one of the main reasons he decided to become a comedian. While there is very little information on the father of Eddie and Charlie, it is widely known that Lillian Murphy would eventually remarry to a man named Vernon Lynch, a truck driver, plant foreman, and retired featherweight prize fighter. Now, according to sources, they wouldn't marry until 1986, well into Eddie's fame, and that marriage would result in a stepbrother for Eddie and Charlie, Vernon Lynch Jr. Now, Vernon Sr. would have a huge impact on the upbringing of both Eddie and Charlie. In regards to the upbringing, Lynch would say, "Eddie respects his parents. I used to be a professional fighter, and I believed in me. I believed nobody could whip me. Eddie always had that. He always believed in himself. Even from a little kid, I will still take Charlie or Eddie downstairs and put on the gloves with them, toughen them up a little bit, show them how they can be. If Eddie wanted to be, I think he'd be a dynamite middleweight boxer. Yes, I'm telling you that he don't like to be hit, but he's quick to learn. His reflexes are good, terrific. But he said, Pop, no good. Don't want to fight nobody, but he can defend himself." Of course, that belief in himself is exactly what Eddie would need to begin pursuing stand-up comedy at just the age of 15. That never-ending confidence is what led him to becoming the youngest cast member on Saturday Night Live to a bona fide movie star by 23. In addition to strong confidence, an undeniable work ethic was instilled in Eddie by Vernon. Early on in his stand-up act, Murphy would often intertwine childhood stories of growing up with his stepfather, mother, aunts, uncles, and brothers.
Black men
Like Eddie and Charlie, Vernon Lynch Jr. also had a career in Hollywood, albeit brief. This was all before following the footsteps of his father and transitioning to the world of boxing. According to People magazine, he currently works as his son's boxing manager. One of Lynch Jr.'s most notable film contributions is co-writing the story to Vampire in Brooklyn alongside his brother Charlie and starring Eddie. While Charles Edward Murphy thought that the family prophecy applied to him, it was later revealed that it was always in the cards for Eddie and Charlie to become the household names. Unfortunately, their father would not live to see either of his sons' success, but luckily the family name Murphy has left a legacy in entertainment that will stand the test of time.